Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to show you the recipe I came up with. It involves a bunch of different things. So I'll take you through what I do to make it. And I did this like every day for quite a while and I felt so good. And then I just got really busy and things got kind of crazy. So I quit doing this for a while, and then I have had a sinus infection for going on 4 months now. So it kind of reminded me to get back onto this and start cutting this up and doing this again. Originally, when I started doing this, I was cutting each individual little thing by hand. And then it just dawned on me one day to get one of these choppers, which makes it so much easier. But the first thing I start off with is an English cucumber. And these are nice because they're pretty firm. And so you don't have to worry about it making everything kind of mushy. And it's, for the most part, you can pretty much get these year round that I've seen. Sometimes they'll kind of be out of stock, and which actually happened to me last week. So I ended up getting those mini cucumbers. They're kind of seedless in a bag, and those actually worked pretty good. So I like that a lot. But this is kind of what I've been doing all along. So, and they had them this time. So I grabbed the big English cucumber, or whatever that you want to call it, the seedless cucumber. And I just end up taking off like strips of the skin. I do leave some on, but I kind of just go down the side, take bits of it off. And I do need, well, I moved, so a lot of the stuff I have I just can't find, is why I'm using a knife to do this. Otherwise, probably a vegetable peeler would be better. But this is how I do it. I just go about getting some of the skin off here. And then once I kind of go around and get that skin off in places, then I kind of cut it in flat pieces. I don't know if you guys have used those box choppers, but they are so handy. Makes life a lot easier when you're cutting up a lot of things, for sure. So I try to kind of size it to where it'll fit on that grid, on that chopper. So I just cut it into pieces. And then I take my individual pieces and probably cut it into 3 or 4, depending on how big these cucumbers are. It just varies this time of year, like a lot. So, but just go through like this. Doesn't have to be exact. I don't worry about it. I'm not that particular on stuff like this. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm putting that in 4 pieces. That's bigger too. So, and then just put them on here. So I really have no excuse not to make this. This makes it 10 times easier than what I was doing before. I mean, it took me a long time to cut this up with a knife into little cubes, which is what I was doing. So that was quick. And then that usually, depending on how big your cucumber is, fills it up really quick. So that's the first ingredient. Then I like to use the Roma tomatoes because they don't seem have as much liquid in them as like the round tomatoes. I'm not sure what you call those ones they have this time of year. Like, I know you can get the tomatoes on the stems, which those are nice tomatoes. But for what I'm making, I really don't want the extra liquid in there. But you can use whatever you want. But just from what I've done, this has seemed to work out really well. So I've just tried to stick with it. Occasionally they don't have these where I shop, so then I have to resort to the other one, which reminds me why I don't use them, because I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's as firm as a Roma tomato is. So you can do, like, you can do 2 or 3. I mean, in the beginning, I was doing 2 of these. And then for whatever reason, I started buying 3. But these are the same way. Like, the size on these can vary quite a bit where I shop. Because when you reach in the bin, there's like really large ones and small ones. So that makes, you know, a difference. But there's really no steadfast rule of how you need to do any of this. I've like changed the amounts a little bit here and there over time. So that's the second ingredient, which is just Roma tomatoes chopped up. And then my next ingredient is bell pepper. So I buy the pack that has they're the 3 packs, and you get like a yellow, orange, and red one typically. So it really doesn't matter what you use in here. When I do buy them, I do try to find, because the same on these packs, like sometimes you got a tiny one in there and then a really big one, medium size. So I do try to look for like 3 that are similar in size because I know they're all going into this recipe. So that's just something I try to do, pay attention to when I'm buying these. But actually my dog likes this for some reason, which I don't know why. I wouldn't think a dog would like something like this, but he's always, if I give him these peppers, he always wants them. So actually, when I'm eating this recipe, he actually will eat pretty much any of it. I mean, there's a few things in here that he really shouldn't have, but he likes it for some reason. So probably better than dog food. If you guys have this one, I got it, I think it was Home Goods, I think. But I just tried to get a cheap one to start with because I really didn't know if it would work or not for what I was using it for. But if you know of a good one, let me know. But so far, this has worked pretty good. But I do think, like, since I am using it quite a bit, that probably it's gonna, the blades might wear out. I don't know. This is really the only thing I've ever used this type of chopper for. And I had one, but like when I moved a long time ago, it got packed away. I don't know where it's at. This is probably like a better one than this one because I really didn't pay a whole lot for this. But yeah, if you know of a good one, let me know, because eventually this one's probably going to wear out on me because it seems like sometimes it's harder to chop. So I don't know what the life of these are or supposed to be. But I do know there's like a wide range of prices on them, so which makes me think that some are better than others. But like I said, it cuts down on the prep time so much that it is so worth it. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. It's probably why, this is kind of what got me back to doing it again, was because I did figure out a quicker way to do it. And that was one of the things that helped. And I did wash all this stuff prior to filming. I just didn't think you wanted to watch me wash these. So that is the third ingredient. The next ingredient is a mango. And I end up like, I'm always like buying these ingredients when I'm out, knowing that I'm going to use them eventually. And then sometimes they go bad on me. But I do like to put the mango in the fridge. Like if it's really hard or unripe, I do let it sit out for a little bit. But I do eventually put it in the fridge because it does make it easier to cut and chop having them cold. Because when they get on the mushy side, oh my gosh, it makes it really difficult. So that is one thing I learned doing this, that it does help to have these a little bit on the hard side. And even if it's not like super ripe, it still ends up tasting good, in my opinion. But mangoes isn't something that I normally would buy or eat ever. I don't know why I put it in here, but so I'm not a mango snob. So if I'm missing out on something, I don't know it because I just never had it. So, and I'm sure this probably isn't as good as what you would pick off the tree that's ripe, but it's still good. It works. But these I end up having to kind of cut in half and then throw in there. And then just the biggest pain is getting the skin off these because I really don't want to eat the skin. It might be fine, but it just doesn't look good. And I don't know. I mean, I really don't know if you're supposed to eat the skin or not on these. Let me know if you are, because then I can maybe consider it. If I'm losing out on health benefits, that is something to think about. And then, like, a lot of times, some of this stuff I end up feeding to my chickens, like the skins and stuff. But I've noticed that I really have to cut them down into little pieces. So, like the mangoes, the skin on these is really hard. So if I give it to my chickens, I've got to really cut it down quite a bit. But yeah, I like it. It's kind of this whole mix is kind of a weird combination in a way. And I don't know why. I don't know what is in it that has the properties, but especially like, so I hadn't had it for a while, and then I started making it again, and I mean, it was like less than a week, and just my skin feels smoother. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it would make my skin feel smoother, but if you try it and that happens to you, let me know what you think. But I just know in my diet, I'm not like a super bad eater because I don't really like eat out a lot. I don't really like fast food. I don't drink pop or anything like that. But also, I've never been like a huge vegetable person where I'm cooking vegetables all the time and eating vegetables. Now, if I had like stuff out of the garden, that might be a different story. Because I did grow a lot of lettuce one year. It was fabulous. And I just had salads all the time. And it was really good. Like all different varieties of lettuce. It was amazing. And the thing I didn't know about that is it came back on its own. So once I had that lettuce bed established, I didn't have to plant seeds again. It just came back really wild, which was awesome. And part of that, what we had done when we planted that lettuce, is we brought in this mushroom compost. I know there's like different kinds of mushroom compost, and the really good one, they didn't get it back. So the second time I got the mushroom compost from somewhere else, it seemed like more like unbroken down manure than the first load. But they both actually worked pretty good. And we put that mushroom compost down, I'm going to say like April, and then tilled everything. And it must have just like moved those seeds around underground when we did all that tilling and combined with the compost. And man, there was just lettuce everywhere. I ended up digging it up because it was like my entire garden bed was all heads, like beautiful heads of lettuce. So I ended up digging them up and transplanting them in rows so I could get other stuff in there. But maybe that's common, you know. I haven't been like a lifelong gardener, so it was kind of new to me, and I thought that was really neat that I didn't have to keep trying to plant all this lettuce every year. It just came back. And but I moved from there, and the person that bought it, I don't think really was into gardening, so I think they just put grass over it, which was kind of like disappointing because it takes a while, I think, to get your garden in a kind of shape where the soil's really good, you know, but also it takes a lot of time, and not everyone has the time to mess with something like that and water it and do all those things. So I understand why people don't do it, but you know, it's really hard to go like to a Kroger's or any place like that and get the kind of lettuce that you would pull out of a garden that's just full of vitamins and minerals and just amazing. And I wish I had pictures. I did at one point, but I don't know where they went. But it was so great. The other thing that I found, this was at another place I lived, that I had planted cherry tomatoes, which I'm sure this is probably common knowledge among anyone that gardens, but they would come back every year. I didn't have to replant them. They were along a little fence I had, so they would just always come back along that fence line, and so I'd have free tomatoes. So that's pretty nice. But that's the mango. I know that took a while. And then I put in, well, typically I don't do a whole carton of strawberries, but I did notice that if I didn't make it right away again, I was ended up throwing away moldy half carton of strawberries. So, which it's a lot of money right now, because I think the one carton I got was $3.69, and then this one might have been a little cheaper, like $3.19. And before I was doing like maybe 5, I wasn't even doing a half a carton, I was maybe doing a third. But I just decided that this time I'm putting them all in there because, well, this time and last time, because why throw out strawberries, you know? They're expensive and they're really good. What I do, like when I get my strawberries, I don't know if everyone does this, but I soak them in water with a little bit of vinegar in there. Like I think those were soaking for probably, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And just to try to clean them off the best I can. I don't think running them underwater does that good of a job. So I recommend soaking them. And then I've also heard on other channels that, like, if I didn't use all these, it's still good to clean them in the vinegar because supposedly they'll last longer. So I believe that. So if you don't use them all, you can soak them in the vinegar water and then, you know, try to get them dry and then put them in the fridge. So at least maybe they won't mold as quickly. But that's something that I've done. I did try to use, there's a smaller grid on this box thing. It did not work good. It just, the strawberries would get stuck in there. Now that worked okay, but in general, I don't like this box to cut these strawberries very much. I'm putting them in there right now because they're pretty firm, and since I'm doing a video, maybe it'll go quicker, but I end up usually cutting these by hand for the most part. But yeah, I like the strawberries a lot. It's a good part of this mix. And then the one thing I wanted to do, I was asking some people, because one video I watched, I can't give credit to who it was, but they were saying eat the rainbow. So I did have a lot of those colors in here. I think one of them, I was missing indigo, violet, which I know you could do like blueberries, something like that. But if you have any suggestions, if you do try this and there's something you think I should try that's available pretty much year round, let me know. Which blueberries should be. But someone mentioned, I think it's elderberries, which I would think those would be hard to get year round. So I didn't end up doing that. So I got the strawberries, put those in there. I think this hinge gets stuck a lot. I don't know if I'm using it wrong. It is a little on the cheaper side. So then I take like a red onion, I guess you call it a red onion, and I don't I can't remember if I put it through the chopper or not. We'll see. I don't really like to do a whole onion actually, because it can really take over this recipe. And especially if you've had your onions for a while and they get stronger, then I don't know, it's too much. So you could do like, I call that kind of a medium to small size onion. So I'll probably do a half or a fourth or a third, whatever, of that. Sometimes when I'm cutting it, I decide. And I'm not good at cutting stuff, as you can tell. So, because I watch these shows and these people are like chop really fast, have nice knives. This is not a nice knife. This knife, I'm pretty sure I got this knife at one of those Walmart displays in the 90s where they said it was like a forever knife for $5. And if anything ever happened to it, they would replace it for free, which I'm sure you probably have to pay the shipping on that. So it's really not free, which nowadays would probably be more than the knife. But honestly, this thing's lasted since the 90s. It's a little loose, but actually I like it. It cuts pretty well. And I know I've got like way more expensive knives than this thing was, but it seems to work. So, but there again, I'm not a chef. I don't cut things in equal sizes. It just gets cut how it gets cut. And so there, like I did half that and then less than half. I mean, I didn't cut that part up, so. But to me, that looks like a good amount. I don't know what you would call that. Maybe half to 3/4 of a cup. And then sometimes, like, if you get it all mixed up and it doesn't seem like there's enough, you can add more. Then I get a avocado. And I kind of go for firm to ripe. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. And I forgot my spoon, but the skin's coming off pretty easily. So this one, I like this one. If you get them like too ripe, then they get really mushy. They're hard to cut. And then when you're stirring up everything, I don't know, it gets everywhere. So I just kind of cut it in like 3 horizontal slices. And cut along there. So it does end up in little pieces, but just the fact that it's a little more firm, I do like that. Because then I can get it mixed in, hopefully get it mixed around in there pretty good. And I'm hoping I'm not forgetting something, because I think this is best if you can put everything in there that I have listed to get the full effect, the full benefit from it. And I'm the only one eating this. I did wash my hands, but so. I put that in there. And then the next ingredient, I like this, I get it at either Sam's Club or Costco, but it is feta cheese. And I like it when it's more like broken up into little tiny pieces for this, so it gets mixed around better. Because if you have the big chunks, it does make quite a bit, so. And if you just have all the big chunks, then it's not really getting mixed in too well. So, but this one I picked has a lot of like really fine crumbles. So I'm just sprinkling it in, and I'm guessing I put in like about maybe 1/4 to 1/3 cup. I don't know. I don't know if you can kind of see that. And then chia seeds. I don't really measure this either, but I just take it and sort of dump it in. You don't want to get too many, but I'm guessing that I'm probably definitely no more than 1/4 cup, I would say. Probably not even that much. But I forgot my spoon, so I'm gonna grab a spoon. Wow. Since I moved, I can't find a lot of my stuff, so this isn't really a bowl. It is out of like one of these cookers, and it has that non-scratch surface, so all I have is this. I'm gonna start with this, but because I really don't want to scratch that non-stick surface, but I'm trying to mix it pretty good. And I mean, I know, like, this is delicious. Because the thing is, like, a lot of times if you do eat vegetables, you're eating cooked vegetables. And it seems like if you boil something, you're losing all the nutrients in the water. And this is all raw. And not only is it raw, it tastes good. This is really good. And you're getting a lot of variety on a daily basis that you normally would not get, because most people don't eat this way. I mean, there are some people, like vegans, I suppose, that eat a lot of this stuff, but the average person, I would say, is eating McDonald's and stuff like that, and they're not getting this at all. So I end up taking it and putting it in my bowl. So I was gonna try to put some in here so you can see what it looks like when it's mixed up, but look at that. It is amazing. It is truly amazing. So that's what it ends up looking like. It's just a mixture of all that stuff. And then, I mean, the only bad thing I don't like is over time, because I can't eat by myself, I'll eat like a bowl of this usually once a day, sometimes twice. I would really like to eat this twice a day, breakfast and lunch. But so it might be in my fridge 4 to 5 days. So it does break down some, and you do start getting some liquid in there, which is another reason why I don't want tomatoes that are already liquidy. So I don't think it tastes as good once it sits there. And when I first started making this, I put like a salad, like an oil type salad dressing in there. And I posted this recipe on my Facebook, and some people gave me some ideas. So I ended up switching to this. I don't know if you guys are into olive oil, but this is like the good stuff from Italy. It costs a lot of money. It has like a pepper flavor, but I just pour a little bit on there and it gives it the best flavor, and it's really good for you. So if you have a source of good olive oil, and I'm not talking about the stuff at Kroger's or places like that, I'm talking about some Italian grocery store where they import this in. This is good stuff. And from memory, it seems like this was on sale for 75 or 80 bucks. So it's a lot of money, but it is definitely worth it because you're getting what you're paying for. So that is what I put on there. But if you don't want to spend that kind of money on olive oil, like an oily type salad dressing, that's what I did originally. I think it was like a Greek vinaigrette with oil in it. It's really good. So I know this was a long video, but I really wanted to share this with everyone because this has helped me out so much. And when I did make this every single day and eat it, I felt great. I didn't have any issues. Oh, I did leave out one thing. I forgot the cilantro. So that is something I left out, and that's an important ingredient. So don't forget the cilantro. And I chop it fine. And it has a nice flavor to it as well. And I don't really, I mean, if there's big stems in there, I'll try to pull those stems out. But, you know, and if you don't like the stems, take them out. It's no big deal. But the cilantro definitely is a key part of this. So I can't believe I forgot it sitting there. But mix that in. So I'll put a little bit in this little bowl. And I'm going to eat this tonight because I think I ran out and I didn't get to eat any yesterday. But I don't know. I just feel energized. I start feeling better. And the fact that I've had this bad sinus infection for going on 4 months now and wasn't eating this. I'm like, I've tried everything to get rid of it. This year, I don't know why it's so bad. I don't know if it's just me, but I got to do something to get rid of this. It's been a tough winter here for me. But I appreciate you hanging in there. It's a long video, but try this out. And I'm sure you could probably substitute some things, but this is what I put in it every time. And I think it's worth following my recipe because I do know it makes you feel good. So it definitely works. But stay tuned. I'm going to have some more content and take you along with some of the things I do on a daily basis. Might not be that exciting, but I do know when you retire, you lose your identity and you have to find things to fill your time. So I've been doing it a while. And so I thought I would start this channel and hopefully we can all run ideas back and forth and maybe you'll learn something. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.